You just thought I was the sexy boss. Here's the real sexy boss. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the 216th edition of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host, and I have not yet changed this podcast. As luck would have it, as fortune would have it, as God would have it, He keeps sending me good people to talk to. So I keep talking to them. And I think it's a good thing for all of us. But change is coming. Maybe I'm going to make slow changes. And I am making little tweaks, see if you notice them throughout both this and on the show notes, which you can find today's episode at thesaleswhisperer.com/session216. But if you missed last week's with Brett Campbell, session 215, go check him out. What a good dude. Sincere, honest, calls him like he sees them. He's from New Zealand, lives in Australia, drop out of school. His greatest weakness became his greatest strength. He just launched his book this week. I was actually able to literally see it hot off the presses. He had just gotten it before our interview. But he tells a story of how he hacked Facebook to grow his business. And he's an open book, speaking of books, answers questions. He has a nice little giveaway for our listeners as well. So be sure and check that out. Who's coming up next week? I don't know. Today's guest, I actually interviewed today. I was scheduled to meet with someone else, and a good dude that had to reschedule because he's flying to Haiti to bring aid to hurricane victims. So these are the type of people I'm finding for these episodes. So that's why I keep bringing them on. If I can bring good people on, I'll keep bringing them on. But today, as again, luck or fortune or God would have it, I had seen Heather online. She's a good marketer. But I met her boyfriend at a chiropractic conference in San Diego this past Saturday. I spoke to about 102 chiropractors, helped them automate their sales and marketing. It was a huge day for me from a sales standpoint. So stay tuned for more details on that in coming episodes, and certainly in my daily blog post and daily email. I hope you're getting those. That's where I unveil a lot more because I have more time. So when you visit this episode, be sure to opt in on the right-hand side for the daily emails. You'll be glad you did, because those won't be free forever. They'll probably be free for a while, but not forever. I can't give away information like this forever. Plus, people only value what they pay for. So if I really want to do you a solid, I'm going to charge you for this information. But if you are self-motivated, you get a lot of education and advice that should be growing your business through this podcast, through my emails, my blog posts. So be sure to check those out. So, but today's guest, I don't want to steal too much of her thunder, but she's a great marketer. She's a boyfriend of Don, Dr. Don, that I met, and it was great connecting with him. It was great testing a brand new presentation, mostly brand new, certainly a brand new flow. 50% of the beginning was brand new. The ending was brand new. And how I wove in the existing content I have was much different, and the results were fantastic. There is a science as well as an art to selling from the stage, connecting with people like that. And I've always been comfortable speaking. I've been told I'm a good speaker. I'm an educational speaker, an entertaining speaker, but you don't always make much money in education and in entertainment. You must understand the art of persuasion. And that's what I'm finally mastering, and not for free and not easily. I've invested a good chunk of change in the last 90 days on my own self-development, personal development, and finally it's paying off. I have kissed a lot of frogs. I have invested in some shady programs, some shady people, and I'll leave their names off to not cause more of a ruckus. But if we ever meet in person, you want to know what I think about somebody, just ask me, and I'll tell you. All right? When you are on the website, though, when you go get the notes from today's interview with Heather Ann Havenwood, like I said, be sure to sign up for the daily. And in the daily, if you would like to apply for a little private one-on-one assistance, learning the new Wes method, you'll see that on the website. You can apply there through the blog. And I'm putting a lot more focus on that now because it's just producing results from my clients. So without further ado, though, let's bring on Miss Heather Ann Havenwood. Heather Ann Havenwood, serial entrepreneur, sales and marketing coach, copywriter, and small business activist. Chief Sexy Boss. You know now people are going to have to check out your website to see if that is the truth. Welcome to the Sales Podcast. How the heck are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Wes. Yes, I am, a.k.a. Chief Sexy Boss.
So, did you name yourself that, or did your big, muscular, sexy boyfriend name you that?
You know who named me that was Joe Sugarman, copywriter, friend, mentor, business partner. Joe Sugarman. He's actually the forward to my book, Sexy Boss, How the Women Empowerment is Changing the Rule Book for Money, Success, and Sex. He looked at me one day while we were having a salad in Vegas. And he goes, "You're kind of like a sexy boss." I'm like, that sounds trademarkable. So off we go, how entrepreneur goes, right? So trademarking that process. And it's been a kind of interesting process. When we started trademarking it, Wes, we thought no big deal, right? Trademark it, blah, 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 go through the little steps. And then all of a sudden we got a call one day from our lawyer. And they said, Hugo Boss is kind of upset that you're doing this. I'm like, what?
Really?
Hugo, like the Hugo Boss?
Yeah.
The Hugo Boss that was credited from creating the Nazis uniforms, that one? They're like, yeah. Like, what interesting. But as Dan Kennedy says, you're on the right track when you get pushed back, right? So we kept going forward.
Obviously, you won.
We're in that negotiation. Like, well, we don't want you to do pantsuits or something like this. So we're kind of in that process right now, working with them.
So they're saying you can't make clothing.
Pretty much. We can't make we can't make clothing and umbrellas and things like that with Sexy Boss up at this time. But, how I look at it right now is they're this big bad gorilla and I'm pushing back. And I just can imagine right now because my PR mind, Wes, is seeing this me on Today's show, this poor young little entrepreneur just trying to make it in the world. And this big bossy, mean German company wants to put me out of business, so I can totally see that. And I will go there if I need to. I will play it up. But right now, just playing nice and doing the lawyer thing at this point.
Yeah.
But I will go there. That's good PR, right?
Yeah.
You can see that spin. Dan Kennedy will be proud.
Oh, yeah. That's all right. Like they say, there's no bad press, right?
No. I don't know. Nowadays with the election, I'm wondering about that particular motto. But I think technically there's no bad press.
But I like the way, within the first 30 seconds of starting, you're already name dropping, just bam, Joe Sugarman. So everybody listening to this, learn from Heather, okay? She's the sales and marketing coach and the sexy boss, and she knows Joe Sugarman. Kabam! Bam!
Thank you.
There are many, many worse places and people to learn from.
Yes.
So you're in Austin, Texas, right?
Yes, I am. Austin.
Very nice. I lived there for 5 years. I like it.
Yeah.
Cool town. So give us your story, huh? How did you become the sexy boss? Were you a corporate America cubicle dweller that made the break? Were you always an entrepreneur?
It's a great story, actually. I definitely did start in the corporate world, but this was in 95-ish, 96 through 99 in Dallas, Texas. And I was thrown into business-to-business sales. I was young. I was 24, 23, and they said, here's your desk. Here's your business cards. Here's your quota. See ya. And here's some yellow pages, have fun. And I had to do it because I had to eat. So I learned sales quickly on accident because I had to. And so anyway, that's what I did for 4 years. At the end of 4 years, which is a long time in business-to-business sales, I was considered like really senior, 4 years. And they looked at me and go, congratulations, you're top 1% in the country for this. By the way, I was like Southwestern Bell. It was a very large company, right? Big time Fortune 500 company. And I was like, wow, this is great. This is all working out. I'm making money. I'm making them money, right? Everything's happy-go-lucky. And then they fired me. And in the corporate world, how they did it was here's all your accounts you've built for 4 years. We're going to take all your accounts away from you and you still have your quota. And you have like 27 days left for your quota, but we're taking all your accounts away. That's AKA called firing you, So I left there, didn't know what to do. That was kind of my moment of, I don't want to go back in the corporate world because I don't want that happening again. I don't want to build something and have just this person who didn't like me take it away from me. So like many people, I'm sure, entrepreneurs and now 100% unemployable, I really didn't jump back in to get a new job. I just kind of in this stay area, hang out for a couple months. And then the moment happened when I was sitting in that couch with a friend and her new fiance or new husband at the time. And he was flipping channels on a Sunday, kind of like flipping. And he got up and there was this infomercial. And the infomercial says something along the lines of, do you want to control your life? Do you want to, own a business? Now's your time. Now's your chance. I'm like, yes. And come to this, seminar tomorrow at 1:00. I'm writing it down really quickly without them noticing. And I went to the seminar at 1:00 and I sat there in the chair for 90 minutes and I had them pitch me, as we call it. And I never forget it because they're talking about this $3,000 program. We're going to teach you how to buy and sell real estate notes. It's going to change your life. And I'm just like, yeah. But I didn't have $3,000, Wes. I didn't have $3,000. And then they said the magic words. But for spouses, you can go for $1,000. I'm like, sweet. So I tagged the guy next to me. I'm like, hey, can I be your spouse?
Oh, nice.
And he's like, sure. What's your name? So we went to the back table and different last names, different addresses, different everything, and no ring. And gave him my credit card for $1,000, and they kind of had this like,
So that dude bought for 3 and you bought for 1?
I bought it for 1.
You didn't even split it with them? That's a nice guy.
I didn't. I was a bad spouse, but
I would have said, yeah, I'll do that, but I pay 2, you pay 2. So all right. So that was your first sale as an independent salesperson, right?
Yeah, that was what. Yeah, I basically. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I guess I did. My first independent sale. So actually, the people behind the table were kind of like, "What's your dealio?" They knew I was lying, but they're like, "What? You're 25 years old. You're by yourself. You're kind of cute. What's your deal? Right? You're totally lying. We like you. What's your deal?" So I started talking to him and telling my story, and they go, "Why don't you come work for us?" I started traveling the country. Moved to Orlando, Florida. I worked for Diantech. That they worked for American Cash Flow Institute, Robert Allen Institute, Wise Trade Made Easy, a bunch of different brands. So I started traveling the country, doing seminars around the country. That's how I got my start in direct response marketing. So here we are. That was in 2001.
Man.
Yeah, 15 years later. So I did that for 7 years. I lived out of a suitcase for 50 weeks out of the year. But here's what I learned. Nowadays, we have these things called VSLs, and some people do landing pages and have a video or have a sales letter. This is back in the day, Wes, in 2001, way back there, when we couldn't do that. We had to send out, mass mail, mass radio ads, infomercials, massive news, like full page news spreads, right? The newsletter, newspaper, I can't even say it, newspaper full page ads. I can't even say it anymore because it don't exist anymore. Newspaper full page ads. And we would go into a city like Chicago or New York or Peoria, Illinois, and the company would call us and go, okay, we just dropped 120,000 or we just dropped 200K in your city. You need to make us back that money now.
Woo.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you talk about pressure. And there were times that we were eating ramen noodles, man. And we're back to the hotel. And we're like, well, let's get some ramen noodles. Or if we had a great week, it's like, wow, we get Ruth Chris steak, So we really lived and breathed on the sales. Like, how do you get in front of a person you've never met before and in 90 minutes sell them a $3,000 package?
Now, were you the presenter, or were you like organizing the salespeople at the back of the room, or both?
So I worked with the team. I worked with the speaker. Eventually, ended up being the speaker, but I was in the back of the room, and we were the marketing team. So we were handling the whole back of the room in the sales process. And you really had to learn to be the team. People always talk about speakers, like you spoke this week at an event, that the speaker can be really good, but if the back of the room people, let's just say this, the back of the room people can kill the deal really easily, right? And so they have to work in conjunction as a team. So what happened is I got thrown into what I call the C team. The C team went to Peoria, Illinois. The A team went to New York, okay? And we were seeing like 50 people, and New York seeing like 200. So who's going to make more money, obviously, because you're in front of more people. But our speaker was only like closing 9%, 10%. I mean, really, really low. And the company really only broke even when we were at like 12 and 15%. Okay. So they were not happy with us. Whereas when they're going to the really bad cities. And so I took it on myself to learn, okay, this thing called stage selling. Okay. So I started learning from Robert Allen. I literally would go to his events and sit there and watch him. Ted Thomas, Marshall Silver. At the time, these were the people you learn from. And I would sit in the audience and I'd literally take notes. Okay, where are they doing this? How are they doing the close? What are they saying during the close? How are they doing it, right? The whole process, and people running to the back of the room or standing up and screaming, all this crazy stuff happening. So I started to teach my speaker what to do. Like, here's what I learned this week. Do this, do this, do this. And we started slowly moving from 8, 9% to 10, 15, 20. When we started hitting 20% consistently, and we're not going to Denver and San Diego and LA, and we're with Chris Steak and I, we're all happy. So that's kind of the process I started learning.
So you had the same speaker every time? So your whole team traveled together as a unit?
Yes, as a unit. And
nobody was training that speaker? I mean, how did he become the speaker, and why were you the one forced to do extra duty to make him able to do his own job?
I took it on myself because we were all hurting. We're all like, what do we do here? And it's a process. I think learning direct response copy, he wasn't a copywriter. I mean, the speaker came because he understood the business. As you know, there's the people that understand the business and then understand copying how to sell. They are usually not the same people. Okay. So said in another way, if you ever watch a real estate speaker and you're like, wow, he's such an amazing speaker. Wow, wow, wow. But find out he really knows nothing about real estate. That's very common.
Right.
Okay. So just because you're really good at teaching people how to buy and sell real estate, or you're good at real estate investing, doesn't mean you are good at platform selling. Very different. That's what happened here. He came because he had experience actually in the business, but not in the business of platform selling. Makes sense? So I took it upon myself, like, well, I'm going to figure this out. I started going to Dan Kennedy events. I started reading up on Dan Kennedy and learning about who Joe Sugarman was, and Gary Halbert. I mean, all these people that were still alive back then, or Gary, they're still alive. Gary's no longer with us. Started learning, reading. Then I would teach. I mean, because we all made money, right? So he was broken. He was broke too. So it was all a team effort. Like, hey guys, let's try this. And you go, okay, I'll try it. Luckily he was really open, and we started tweaking. And next thing you know, we're just hitting it out of the park. So it was a lot of fun. And that's where I got to start.
Okay. So you started in 2001 when the whole .com crash had finally crashed. And then you ended in 2008 when the real estate market crashed. So
yes.
I need to study you when you're about to make a change so I can start shorting the market.
That's a good idea. I actually started hitting the pavement on traveling the month after 9/11.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Talk about strange traveling time. You know what I mean? So, and then it was really challenging in that world because people were hesitant, right? Hesitant to buy anything. So there's a lot to overcome and know, like, trust. And now this is the time to get into business. Don't worry about this thing called 9/11, So you have to really overcome a lot. And as you know, in sales one-on-one, when you're face-to-face, it's a different kind of conversation versus online. You can throw up a VSL today, throw it out to people, and you can look at the stats, and that's your feedback. But when you're in front of another human being and they're looking at your eyes and they're rolling their eyes, or like, whatever, or they're like, you guys are full of it, or, or they're smiling, or they're excited, or they're about to fall asleep. I mean, you get real feedback. You know what I mean? It's way different. It's a different kind of rejection that you have to deal with versus someone just leaves your page,
Right. And for those listening, VSL means a video sales letter. So you've mentioned that a few times now. Why is that?
Because that's just the new technology. I think people are used to they go to a page that sees a video, and the video is like a presentation, or a webinar is a presentation, right? These are the new things we do. And the reason I keep pointing that out is that I'm really blessed, I feel, because I had that experience in the face-to-face. Because as you know, Wes, we as human beings on how and why we buy have not changed for thousands and thousands of years. We haven't changed. Now, the technology has changed, meaning we might go to a webinar or seminar, or we might listen to a podcast. That's the technology. But the why a human being pulls out their credit card or checkbook or whatever to purchase a thing or something or service hasn't changed for thousands of years.
Right.
It's changed. We haven't changed. And I think that's what people forget. Oh, well, VSLs are now hotter. Oh, webinars are hot. I got to change everything. It's like, well, not really. it's still the same thing that how we sold back in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, because people haven't changed much. We haven't changed.
Well, you're the sexy boss. I have a face made for radio, so that's why I have to blog a lot.
Thanks. So I have a face for radio? Did you just say I have a face for radio?
I have a face for radio.
Oh, you?
You're the sexy boss, so you can do video sales letters. But, my parents used to hang a pork chop around my neck to get the dog to play with me.
Oh, my God.
So, I mean, I got to write a lot. That's why there's no video on this episode, right? I mean, I can't be in front of the sexy boss. No way. You'd be rolling your eyes, falling asleep. I'd feel terrible. I would just be like talking while you snored, and I'd have to publish that episode, and it would really hurt my feelings.
I would never do that to you, Wes.
All right. So it's 2008.
Yeah.
And then why did you change? And what did you change into?
Well, it's actually 2005 and 2006. Okay. I was in Florida at the time, and what happened is I worked with I started basically consulting speakers, right, front of the room speakers, and in the real estate industry. And I had one that reached out to me. I started doing consulting work for him, and then he's like, "Hey, why don't we do business together?" So we built a business from $0 to $1 million in 2000, late 4 or 5, beginning of 6. From $0 to $1 million with the seminar and the information marketing products and like all that really quickly. I was the back, I was dealing with all the structure of it, and he was the face, right? And that was going well until one day I came home and everything was gone. All the sites were taken over, and the merchant accounts.
What?
Yeah, he took all the money out of the bank account. The merchant accounts were no longer in my name. They were in his, and I had no access to it. So he stole everything. And so I went through, within 5 days, my house was in foreclosure. And within a couple months, I completely got wiped out. Bankruptcy, personal bank, I got completely wiped out. And that was in 2006, which was the beginning of the, during that time that was a nosedive, right? The beginning of the nosedive was 2006. So I pretty much got wiped out. 2006.
How did you lose it in 5 days?
Well, he took all the money out of my bank account, right? And my mortgage was due, and I couldn't make it. I had nothing. I mean, I'm not talking like, he took some money. I'm talking he took everything. I had $0 in my bank account overnight. I had nothing else I was working on.
You were sharing everything with him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's kind of cray-cray.
Cray-cray. I know. Learn from the lessons, right? So that's what we do as entrepreneurs. So everything was completely wiped out. And my house, the mortgage wasn't hit, and started getting notices and started the process of foreclosure process, right, which is normal, right? So, yeah. So that was 2005, 6, and 7. I kind of was licking my wounds during that time and dealing with like what I had to deal with on that, because I couldn't like just go back into the real estate space, right? Because everyone I knew in that space was eating dirt, and I had to really look at, well, I know all this knowledge about copywriting and direct response and online marketing, okay, but what do I do with it?
Right.
I don't want to go teach people, let me tell you how to make $1 million online when I'm broke, because I hate when people do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't want to teach people real estate, obviously, because for obvious reasons, real estate was in the dirt. So a friend of mine that I met through Dan Kennedy, he said, why don't you teach men how to date women? No one can ever question you on that. And you can use all your skills of copywriting and online marketing and VSLs to do that. So in 2008, I started to create that company, and still have that company today. That's how it started. That's how it restarted. And then
teach
now
men how to date. All right, cool.
Teach men how to talk to and communicate to women. Yeah. You guys need help, Wes.
Come on. I've been married 21 years.
Let me ask your wife.
All right. I ring the bell. She brings my drink. I mean, isn't that communication?
God. No, that's...
No?
No, that ain't it.
I'm so confused.
It's okay.
Maybe I should read your book.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I started. And it's an interesting story because people go, why did you do that? Why did you do that? I was at a place in my life, really low confidence of like, I wanted to use my skill set I knew, but do it in a place where no one can ever question me. And no one can ever question me on, well, how do you know so much about, men? Well, I'm teaching men about women, and no one can ever question me on women because I'm a woman. You know what I mean? So it was an automatic credibility, and I just built it from there. Now, since then, with Joe Sugarman, we did in October of 2013. It was me and Joe, the headliners, and then the speakers there were John Carlton, Joe Polish, John Benson, Joe Sugarman. I'm trying to think else. John, there's a big crowd. Joe, yep, that's it. John Benson, Joe Polish, John Carlton, and Joe Sugarman and I were the other speakers. That was successmagnetseminar.com. That was kind of my launch into teaching other people how to do marketing and stuff like that. That was kind of my launch.
Imagine how successful it'll be when you tell everyone that I will be there sweeping the floors. You're going to get so many people to come.
Do what? What do you mean? I'm going to be
because I'll be there cleaning, maybe handing out drinks, taking orders. That'll be a super successful conference.
Yeah, that happened in October 2013. I can't tell if you're making fun of it or making fun of me. I'm not sure.
No, I'm saying it'll be that much better when I'm there.
When you're there.
Cleaning.
Well, it already happened. It was in October.
I know, you should do it again. It's going to be huge. Do it again.
Oh, I doubt it. What's interesting is that everyone, when I was promoting it, there was only like 60, 70 people that showed up, and people were talking about it for months afterwards and reaching out to me and saying, "Hey, I thought it was a joke." I'm like, "No, you dumbass." Because it's big names. And what was interesting,
right,
like that summer, so maybe like 8 or 9 months later, I'm going blank on his name, Brian. He's the head of, it's a big copyright. He had a big copyrighted conference with the same people, except Dan Kennedy was there. Same people speaking, and he charged $3,000.
And what were you charging?
I was charging like $500.
Oh, man.
Right? And so I just started, that was a big lesson for me too. And I thought, well, that's okay. It'll never happen again. Getting that lineup.
Why not?
Room. It just won't.
All
I don't
right.
want
Get other big names.
Huh?
Get other big names.
Yeah. We'll do that again. We'll do the same event, just not obviously in the same
right,
exact people. So that was my launch of coming back into and teaching marketing, and education.
All right. So let's go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Somebody says, "Hey, you should teach dating and communication." And that's fine that you have an idea. But it's always the nuances, the intricacies. How do you know what to offer, how to price it, how to launch it, right? Because having an idea is one thing, but I'm assuming you didn't really have a list, right? You had a list of real estate people. How do you start? Right? You start
he took that
ads?
list, so I didn't have anything. I didn't even have a list of real estate people. He took that too.
Oh my gosh.
So I just started from scratch on every level.
So what did you do? Somebody says, start teaching men how to date. Okay. Is this one-on-one coaching for $1,000? Is this a membership site? Is it a newsletter? How do you decide where to start, and then where did you start?
Okay. So this particular business is a publishing model that is focused on programs, okay, and not membership, no coaching. I ended up adding coaching later, but not a lot of my business was that. It was what I call hardcore online marketing, buying traffic, sending it to a VSL, having them convert, get them on your email list, taking that email list and leveraging it to other offers and your offers. I had to get really good at copywriting specifically. So the last, whatever that is, 6 or 7 years, I write between 2 to 4 emails a day, and I write them myself, and they're all copy. So I focus on copy and conversion and traffic all day long. It's a different kind of model. It's not as personal brand that I am now. I do personal brand now, but it was. Are
you still writing 2 to 4 emails a day?
Yeah.
And to the same group, teaching men how to communicate?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a different kind of model. It's kind of what I call a hardcore online marketing model. Really focus on buying traffic, buying media, driving people to the website or websites, different landing pages, converting them, and then continually selling them ongoingly on the back end through email. Mainly through email marketing.
So you're going to be one of those. You're going to be another one I have to tell my wife ahead of time, because I sign up for stuff and I'm like, honey, I'm signing up for this dating thing, but I'm not dating. I'm just studying.
Right. Yeah, no, that's actually true. I'm on everyone's lists. Mainly, yeah, you learn conversion, you learn copy, that's kind of what I do.
Now, these emails, are these free emails that you're trying to convert people, or this is what they get when they buy?
No, they get a program. They do get a program when they purchase, the downloads and audios and transcripts of the actual program. But the emails are ongoing, no matter if you sign up for free or just get a free report with some offer that I've created. They get some report or some free video, and then from the free, I'm constantly converting them into either my program or other people's programs.
So if you were flat broke, I mean, how did you start? Right? You gotta start buying ads. I mean, how? And then there's a good chance the ads won't work at first. You got to tweak it and adjust it. I mean, that could be thousands of dollars in days and weeks, maybe even months before you know what's really converting. You got to make the video sales letter. That's technology. That's money. You got to buy some type of software for your autoresponder. So, I mean, how did you duct tape that stuff together?
Well, first you got to remember that's exactly what I did with the other companies. I've been doing that already for a while. It was just a different. It was just a different niche. Right. Nothing's changed.
Right, but you were broke, right? I mean, I guess you just throw it on a credit card and knew you could push it and get going.
Yeah. So first of all, when you create a product, the easiest way to sell the product is to affiliate. And to go after the affiliate market. Okay. And that's the first thing I did. And I think that's what people miss is the affiliate market. What other kinds of companies already have your customer on their lists, right? So that's what I first did to drive the traffic, to get things kind of moving and going. And that's still a very important part of my business today is the affiliate relationships, right? It's cross-promoting, right? So you went to an event this weekend and you spoke on someone else's stage, as we call it. That's an affiliate conversation, right?
Sure.
So affiliate marketing is an integral part, and that's where you create a product or you create the sales letter for the product. It's not even the product yet sometimes, and push it to someone's list and then see if it converts and then go through the process from there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what do you use for your affiliate software?
I actually use ClickBank.
Cool.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, huh?
Yeah, Infusionsoft I used for a Success Minute seminar, and we had so many problems with it.
Yeah.
Infusionsoft. But ClickBank I definitely use for the online marketing side, and then Infusionsoft I used for the seminar side.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was 2013?
The 2013 was the Success Minute seminar, correct?
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But
and
the
that was
dating when did you start the dating? 2008?
Late 8, early 9.
Okay.
Yep. Started then. 2009.
Well,
and then between 2006 and 2008, I lived in Marco Island, and I didn't do much. I just kind of stood off into the ocean. That was those moments. That was the years that I was trying to figure out if I wanted to do this whole entrepreneurial thing.
And you lived where?
Corporate world. Marco Island.
Where's that?
It's the south tip of Florida. It's actually 90 miles from Key West.
Ah, so you were hanging out in the hallowed grounds of Gary Halbert.
Yeah, it sure was. Just staring off in the ocean and trying to figure out maybe I shouldn't do this entrepreneurial thing. This is for the birds. I should go back to corporate world. And I did. I tried to become a waitress. I think I got fired after a couple days. I tried to be a hostess. I think I lasted 2 weeks. I'm not very good in those environments. Right. So I tried a couple things here and there. I think honestly, if looking back, if they had Uber at the time, I would have done that in a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have lost my house. I probably would have been able to, but when you have everything in one basket and you're go, 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 and then all of a sudden it literally just poof, and there's there's no space to get a job at the time. There's I tried to go to Starbucks. I tried everything just to get money income for that immediate, that was challenging. I wish they had Uber back then because that would have been awesome. Like, boom, I could start driving people around, making some money, The entrepreneur, that's why I love Uber and Lyft and all that.
Yeah, but if they had it back then, you might still be an Uber driver, and we would never have learned from you.
That's true. No, I think that itch would have come back, but it would have been great to have that as kind of a backup to I'm still making money. Everything's okay.
Hey, you can still do Uber, I'm just saying.
Yeah. I always feel like when I'm Ubering, there's always an entrepreneur usually behind the wheel. They're like, I do this on the side, then I do this, or I'm a musician, or whatever. I always love hearing their story.
All right. So what do men get wrong with women?
Oh, wow. That's a whole nother podcast, Wes. Come on.
No way. First thing that comes to mind, I know there's probably 10,000, but it's like a Fibonacci sequence. You got the most intense things, like the first 3.
I think the biggest thing is hearing what they're not saying and interpreting what they're saying, right? So women speak from an emotional conversation all the time and men don't. So it's like literally Martianized and Hispanic talking. Like someone's talking, from Mexico and someone's talking from Mars and they're not communicating and they start yelling at each other. A lot of it's because I always tell guys, this is an emotional conversation, not a logical conversation, right? So if a woman's speaking from her heart or from an emotion, men try to interpret it into another language, basically. And that's where sometimes the disconnect, right? So that's the first thing. And what's interesting about my particular business with that is people always go, oh, you're just trying to teach men and what women think. And I've had women bash me over it, all kinds of weird stuff. And I always laugh about it because for every one man I meet, I always say how many women are in their life, minus let's say they're married. They might have an ex-wife. They might have a daughter. They probably have a mom. Okay. They have an aunt. Maybe they have someone they work with. Either they're their boss or they have a boss that's a woman. All these elements, they don't know how to deal with on multiple levels. I mean, I've met many men who are like, I have a boss as a female. I don't know how to deal with that. I'm trying to communicate with her about this. She's not getting it. Yeah. I hear it all the time. Right. Or I have a coworker who's a female and we're not getting along. Or what the heck is my daughter thinking? Stuff like that. So I always look at it. There's one man, there's a lot of women in their life. It's not always just a significant other. It could be ex-wife, the drama there.
You're not just teaching dating. You're teaching just male to female communication.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Cool. Now, did you start out with dating or was it always just
It is always dating. Wes, come on. It's called packaging, right? So packaging, it's dating. And then when you get to it, you always teach them what they think they need, not what they need, right? You always tell them the sizzle, you never the steak, right? So I'm not going to say, I'm going to teach you how to communicate with women. Well, you're like, boring, okay? I'm going to teach you how to attract hot, sexy women in your life. Sweet, right? So you always sell the sizzle. You never sell steak, Wes. You know this. I'm not telling you. You don't know. So it's packaging, right? It's packaging and how you're packaging, communicating that, right? So that's why I teach communication or how to attract and find hot, sexy women in your life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And sprinkled within there, maybe as a sidebar or a little call out. So, by the way, if you have a woman as a boss, try this.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Right. Hey, I'm on to you. I'm putting this together. I'm starting to see the light.
You understand. You're always selling the sizzle, never the steak. What they want, not what they need.
Very cool. So people are checking you out. You got a book, right?
I have a cool book, Dating Space. Yeah, you can check me out on Amazon. Mm-hmm.
And you have a couple. I see the Sexy Boss. I see the Win. What is the Win?
The Win is my podcast on entrepreneurship. The Win. You can check me out on Amazon. I have about 5 books in the dating space.
You have 5 books.
Yeah, on the dating space.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So go to Amazon.com and put my name in Heather Havenwood, and you'll see The Game of Dating, bunch of them.
Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you're talking about. So.
Yeah, and I will link to that as well in the show notes. So, all right, coming towards the end here, I always like to ask my guests, picture our listeners on an airplane, on a treadmill, on a bike ride. They can't do anything right this second. But what should they do as soon as they can take action based on listening to this interview?
If they're a business owner on any level, either online or service-based, think in the affiliate space, meaning where are your current clients? Even if you have a chiropractic business or a dentist business, or it doesn't matter, where are your current clients? How can you get in front of them? Right? Where you're not paying media. And there's a ton of different places to do that. But there's a huge leverage point with affiliate marketing, and a lot of people overlook it. right? They focus on the Facebook ads, or they focus on paid media, and they don't focus on where are their current customers now and how can I communicate with them from an endorsement another place, right? So there's all kinds of opportunity with that. I talked to a guy on Thursday. His company, what he does is high-end security, okay? And I said, you guys need to talk to the NRA because you guys have cross lists there. They can endorse you. You can do either mail drop, or you can actually just do an article inside of their direct response magazine. I mean, there's all kinds of things you do, but that is your market. They're trying to do Google AdWords. I'm like, are you crazy? That's nuts. Okay. You need to go to the NRA or an organization like that's already in front of your customers and has that relationship. So
how would that work? Would they, I mean, the NRA would say, okay, yeah, why don't you buy an ad in our magazine? I mean, could they go to the NRA and say, hey, we'll split sales with you? But, I mean, even if they do, you got to be proven, right?
So the NRA, like a lot of companies, are direct. That's a very good direct response marketing company. That's really what they are. I mean,
Right.
I'm a member, so I can say that. And I stand for their mission. They do have a mission. But at the end of the day, they are a direct response marketing company. I get a physical magazine every single month from them, and I also get emails from them, and they have sponsored emails called an email drop. They could purchase that, or they could do a split, right, with them. That's just one opportunity, and they would do that. They would do a test. They say, well, let's do it to 1,000 people in Texas and see if it works.
I got you.
Drop to your entire list. Right. So that they will do testing with you like that. There's other companies out there that do it all the time. Like, well, let's just test to, our white male, 1,000 of them in Southern California, and see if it tests, right? And see if it tests well. And then they'll test it and go, oh, we like it. Let's now go national or segment it out. Because those kind of companies, they segment their lists like that really well.
Right.
So an email drop, and you could do local stuff. There's a ton of local magazines. What people don't realize, they automatically go to, I got to put an ad in there. I'm like, no, they've built some kind of relationship either on their Facebook page and or email. Why not do a sponsored ad or a sponsored email, right?
Sure.
In there, I think you get a lot better results.
Yeah, I know some big email marketers as well. I mean, they might charge $2,500 or $5,000, but they may have a 100 or 200,000 person list, and you can write an article or put an ad, or get a shout out from them in that list, and
yeah,
you make some sales.
Yeah, or at least test it. I
Right.
mean, test it. So that's a great way to do it. I think people forget about that opportunity, and there's a ton of opportunities there, especially in the email world, as well as Facebook.
All right, so as soon as they get back to their desk, they need to think about affiliates, find somebody, and strike up a joint venture affiliate marketing offer with.
Yes. And there's a lot of ways to strike the cat on the affiliate world, the JV world, and just think outside the box.
Right.
That's a big one.
All right.
Hey.
Very nice. All right. Heather Ann Havenwood, all the way from the great state of Texas.
Yes, all the way great state of Texas.
We will link to this, to your books, to your Twitter account, Facebook. You've got a nice little mailing list here I'm signing up for. And tell my wife, all right, this is purely for research purposes. All right? I don't need you to get any kind of counseling business, all right? I can't. Ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. All right.
That's funny. Thank you so much, Wes, for this. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us. It was great having you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye.
Good stuff. Sell the sizzle. Sell the packaging. Wrap your package. And be leery of corporate America. Be leery of partners. Trust but verify. And I have learned that the hard way. I've been burned and burned and burned. I've lost so much money. I've been audited by the IRS. I've been audited by the California Board of Equalization because I trusted partners who absconded with more money than I even want to think about. And Heather learned that the hard way as well. But important lessons there, right? I talked about at the beginning of the show, but the importance of selling from the stage, persuading from the stage. It is so important. One to many. It's leverage. Leverage other people's time, leverage other people's money, leverage other people's expertise. Okay, but leverage your own time by understanding how to sell through a webinar, how to sell from the stage. It just makes such a difference. You have to master that to really grow. And that's why I wanted to have her on. It was, I heard her story, did some quick research over the weekend, and I knew, she was going to bring it. And anybody willing to name herself Sexy Boss, that's my kind of person. I love what she talked about with understanding communication. She's teaching that, men to women, but the cause, the underlying effect, or underlying cause of any conflict is miscommunication. All right? It's why world wars get started. It's why divorces happen. It's why partnerships break up. It's miscommunication. So, get her book. Check it out. There's a link to it from the website. A link to all of her books, actually. I went to Amazon and grabbed all of those for you. And understand communication. Understand the need to sell. Understand the sequential process of selling. Because she talked about, buying traffic or working with affiliates, sending them to a landing page. On that landing page was some type of video sales letter or a long-form sales letter. Within that is an offer. And that offer is usually an ethical bribe. It's a lead magnet. It's a free report, some type of information that they get for free, and then you drip on them. You nurture them with multiple touches, multiple sequential relevant information with an offer. If there is no call to action, there is no action. Okay, and that's what she has mastered. She's hanging out with some good people, some big names, and she is on her A game. So check her out, see what she's up to. There's a ton of worse people you can follow and emulate than what Heather's doing. So she really is doing some good work out there in the sales and marketing space. As always, thanks for listening. You can head to thesaleswhisperer.com/session 216 for the notes. Please do sign up for the daily podcast, for the daily emails and blogs. And if you have the guts, apply for the private consulting. You'll be glad you did. Just going through the process to apply will make you better. Thanks for listening. Be sure to leave a comment, share this. Hit me up on Twitter. Let me know you like this episode. And remember to sell different.